Hello and welcome to chapter 27. And David said in his heart, I shall now perish one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than that I should speedily escape into the land of the Philistines, and Saul shall despair of me, to seek me any more in any coast of Israel. So shall I escape out of his hand. So even though Saul had said, I'm not going to do anything to you, you're all good, as he said previously, even David knows, no chance, he does not mean this. And David arose, and he passed over with the 600 men that were with him unto Achish, the son of Maoch, king of Gath. And David dwelt with Achish at Gath, and his men, every man with his household, even David with his 2 wives, and Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the Carmelitess, Nabal's wife. And it was told Saul that David was fled to Gath, and he sought no more again for him. So in his desperation, going to the worst place, the Philistines, where they're always at war with the Philistines, and he thought, if I stay in Israel, he's gonna get me. So he went. He's very brave, our David. So David knew Saul would continue to hunt him down. So he went to Gath, where he fought the Goliath. Okay, so David took drastic measures to escape Saul. Went to the Philistines. So he went to Achish, who was the king of Gath. We remember that drama. And it's interesting he would choose that. I mean, imagine what the reception would have been like. So he'd killed Goliath, their biggest, baddest weapon, with a stone no less. And he rocks up there. Can you just imagine? I wish we had some description of what went down there and the reaction, but I'm pretty sure we've got an imagination that would allow us to see this guy, what's he doing? But that goes to show he thought, even being around the Philistines is better than being chased by Saul. And that says a lot. And we also have to remember that he was responsible for a lot of people, so 600 of his own men and their families. There's a lot of people that he had to make sure were okay, and as it says here, that actually worked because Saul didn't hunt him down anymore after that. And David said unto Achish, If I have now found grace in thine eyes, let them give me a place in some town in the country that I may dwell there, for why should thy servant dwell in the royal city with thee? Then Achish gave him Ziklag that day, wherefore Ziklag pertaineth unto the kings of Judah unto this day. So I suppose now they've realised that David is a real enemy of Saul, and they knew he could never go back to Israel, which made David a potential ally, because the Israelites and the Philistines are always at war, constantly war, and knowing that they've got David on their side against Saul, I think they figured, all right, we've got something to benefit from this. And David was saying, I will be your servant. I will work for you and be loyal to you. Okay. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was a full year and 4 months. And David and his men went up and invaded the Geshurites and the Gezrites and the Amalekites, for those nations were of old the inhabitants of the land, as thou goest to Shur, even unto the land of Egypt. And David smote the land, and left neither man or woman alive, and took away the sheep and the oxen and the asses and the camels and the apparel, and returned and came to Achish. And Achish said, Whither have ye made a road today? And David said, Against the south of Judah, and against the south of Jerahmeelites, and against the south of the Kenites. And David saved neither man nor woman alive, to bring tidings to Gath, saying, lest they should tell on us, saying, So did David, and so will his manner, and all the while he dwelleth in the country of the Philistines. So David was very cheeky here, and while he told him, I'm going to be your servant, he had other plans. And what he did is he used this place as a base and raided various tribes who were enemies of Israel. And even took out those Amalekites. Where is that? Amalekites. They're long-time enemies, they are. And here's where we get sad, don't we? We're like, wait, you've killed everyone, man, woman, children, everyone is gone, and that kind of hurts us, doesn't it? Why would you do that? And the reason he did it was so that no one could go and tell Ashish what he was doing during this time. If he'd left any survivors, they would have gone and reported back to him, and his plan would have been foiled. And so there are times when we really question why God allows things to happen. Like, yeah, but these people, like, what did they do? And I guess we have to accept that he has plans, and they were enemies of God's children. As sad as it is to read this. So David made sure no one survived, so King Ashish wouldn't be aware. So obviously David was lying. David deceived King Ashish. David's loyalty was really, obviously, always with Israel. His loyalty was always secretly with Israel. As if he would team up with the Philistines. Please! Silly Ashish. Okay. And Ashish believed David, saying, he hath made his people Israel utterly to abhor him, therefore he shall be my servant forever. We shouldn't laugh at deception, but they're mean and enemies of God's children. So he bought the lie. He thought because David was an enemy of his own people, that he could be Ashish's servant forever. And he thinks, yes, I've got them. You are now my comrades. You're going to work with me and we're going to fight the Israelites. No, that is not going to happen. I'm tempted to read on, but I'm going to hold off because 28 is a little bit of a longer chapter anyway. 29 is a bit short. And 30 is quite long. We'll see. I always pray about it and see where the Lord guides me. I'm feeling like I want to hold off here. That's a nice place to end it. Okay, so tune back in tomorrow for chapter 28 and we'll see what happens after David has deceived the king. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and let me know what you think and your commentary. I always like hearing your commentary too, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!